The Mazda CX-30 caught our interest when it debuted in 2020. It falls between extra small SUVs like the CX-3 and compact SUVs like the CX-5. Yes, the similarity in names is a bit confusing, but that's besides the point. We generally like the way Mazdas look and how they drive, so we were curious to see how the CX-30 would stand up to a year-long test from our diverse staff, where we treat vehicles like normal shoppers. While we usually like to purchase long-term test vehicles for evaluation, the cost of running a full fleet prevents us from doing so. So from time to time, we'll borrow vehicles for the purposes of evaluation, and that's what we did here. We received this CX-30 in September 2020, and now, at the time of this recording, we've got about 15,000 miles on it. What was good? What was bad? Well, we'll explain all that. For more information on our long-term CX-30 and all the nitty-gritty details about what it was like to drive for a year, click the link in the description below. While you're down there, press like and subscribe, and if you want a cash offer on your car today, go to edmunds.com/sellmycar. Where the CX-30 starts in the low $20,000 range, our premium package with all-wheel drive totaled about $32,000. Our CX-30 has the 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine with 186 horses. That's a lot of power for an SUV of this size, and it's something we loved when we tested a CX-30 with that engine separately. It went 0 to 60 roughly 2 seconds faster. As for the rest of our CX-30, its slightly firmer ride means you definitely notice bumps and ruts, but the firmness also gives you a sensation of sharp handling, a trade-off that more than a few of our editors were happy to make. The smallish cabin, because of the overall smaller size, was a debate amongst the taller people on our staff. One staffer, who's just a touch over 6 feet, said they were 50-50 on the interior space, and they wondered if they could live with it on a daily basis. They loved the sunroof, but they didn't like that their hair was brushing that roof every day. So taller people or those with longer torsos, that might be something to keep in mind. Let's keep talking about space because it's important when you consider that an SUV of this size needs to fit a family. We found the CX-30 had a decent amount of cargo space for daily errands, stuff like a hike, grocery bags, or a couple of pieces of carry-on luggage. But if you surf, anything like the board or something that long would take up a lot of the interior. The parents on our staff with more than one child found situations where they wanted a bigger SUV. This is going to be the way things fall for all SUVs in this category, not necessarily this Mazda in particular, but it's worth noting. We've also had some debate on the infotainment controls. Unlike most modern cars, you don't get a touchscreen. Instead, you have this rotary controller for all functions, including phone projection like Apple CarPlay. Some on our staff preferred this setup, and others think it's a deal breaker. You want to spend some time playing with it and remember there's a learning curve before you decide. There were 2 recall campaigns for this model year CX-30, and our car was subject to one of them. The problem was a power liftgate that may slowly lower slightly when open and parked on an incline, and there's a chance someone could bump their head into it. Mazda's maximum service interval is 10,000 miles or 12 months, whichever comes first, or 5,000 miles or 6 months for severe use like in hot or cold climates or in extremely heavy city use. While this kind of maintenance is stuff you can generally do at home if you're mechanically inclined, we like to stick with dealership service departments to mimic the ownership experience of a regular customer. And it was fine, no issues at all. How about reliability? We had a broken windshield, but that's not the car's fault. The CX-30 was flawless, just as it should be. While we usually like to have around 20,000 miles on our long-term test cars by this point, it was a pandemic year and all, so we didn't get there. In this case, we got close to 16,000 miles, which is still enough to get a decent read on fuel economy. We averaged just shy of 26 MPG. We didn't quite match the combined rating of 27 MPG, but we did more city driving than usual over the last year, so that checks out. What's our CX-30 worth now? The only way to know for sure is by selling it. Using the Edmunds appraisal tool helps us get a value for our specific trim level, the options, mileage, condition, and location. After tallying it all up for our region and calculating based on our mileage, our values are around 26 grand for a private party sale and 24 grand for a trade-in. That's pretty dang good, considering the roughly $32,000 starting price. But remember, we're filming this during the great used car price spike of 2021, so there's a chance values will change by the time you see this video. In summary, well, the CX-30 delivered everything we thought it would. Pleasing driving manners, no worry maintenance, and reliability, and with an interior space that works great for solo drivers or very small families. If you're looking for an SUV of this size with these kinds of traits, the CX-30 is a no-brainer. Don't forget, for all the details on the CX-30 and our entire long-term fleet, click the link in the description below, press like and subscribe, we appreciate it. And for a cash offer on your car today, go to edmunds.com/sellmycar.